Hi, this is author Nancy Flinchbaugh. Welcome to my Writing for Change podcast. Today I'm interviewing Christopher Batin. Chris is a writer, editor, publisher, award-winning professional photojournalist. He's edited and published with the Alaska Angler publications as well as an editor with the Travel Age West magazine. He's been a guide to many people fishing and hunting and traveling in Alaska. He's an educator, a motivational speaker, and an Alaskan adventure travel personality. In fact, he's been called an Alaskan legend. He's the author of many books about hunting and fishing in Alaska. He's also, as I mentioned, an award-winning photographer. Today we'll be looking back, asking Chris, what were the early influences and the books and other writing that shaped him as an individual? Please join me in welcoming Christopher Batin.
Well, welcome, Chris Batin. Thank you for joining me this morning. And I'm looking forward to talking to you about your work and your life. And I just wanted to start by asking if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm 69 years old. I've spent a wonderful life and career in Alaska, 47 years, doing what I enjoy most, and that's photographing and writing about the great creation that we have here on Earth. And it's been a wonderful job. Would never have changed it. Even now, I would never go back and change my job profession. And I've been extremely blessed. I, it's what else do you do? I just do what I sort of like take dictation from God. I don't think I'm that smart to where I could come up with all these fabulous ideas, and He tells me things what I should do to where I write award-winning stories, and it's a wonderful thing. But of course, you can see right here where I'm at is in the greatest church of all. All churches are important. It's the outdoors, and that's where you can really get in tune with creation and especially oneself. Because as I see it, as I learned from what my father and my uncle taught me long ago, is that if you don't love yourself first, how can you truly love creation? And even Jesus said that in the Bible. First, love God, and then love your neighbor as yourself. So he says you got to love yourself too, and as well as your neighbor. But you also have to love creation in order to nurture and take care of it. And if you look at Genesis, it says God gave man dominion over the earth, and that dominion in the Hebrew context, the ancient Hebrew context, means as a nurturer, a caretaker, not is interpreted by some early church doctors to have dominion to pilfer and rule over and do whatever, because man's of highest importance. And well, he has a soul, but we also have a charge of taking care of our environment. So I'm getting way off track, so I'll let you ask another question.
Yeah, but you're telling me a little bit about who you are. I've heard you've been called an Alaskan legend because of all your work and guiding and writing and photography in Alaska. But what I'm hearing you saying is that at the base of your life is a God of love, and it calls you to love yourself and others and also nature. And so I just wanted today, I hopefully we'll have a second conversation to learn more about your work in Alaska and kind of your philosophy as it's developed. But today I would like to just focus on what were some of the things that shaped you as a child and as you grew to become this person, the man that you are, the Alaskan legend that you are, but also the child of God who loves creation and loves nature. So, what were the books and other things that influenced you as a young child?
Exposure to the church. I started saying mass when I was in the third grade. Saying mass meaning as an altar boy, so we had to learn Latin in the third grade. I remember. Thing with the priest after school, Computer Deum Nudenti Baptimer, blah, 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 which really helped me, I think, in the long run to learn the English language, because a lot of Latin roots there. So that helped immensely. But there's my father in the beginning. So I was the first child, firstborn, and he would take me out on nature walks. He was a naturalist. He was a very good self-taught naturalist, and he knew everything. We'd go out in the woods. Okay, we'll identify that tree. That was in the wintertime, just by the buds. Okay, what buds are which way, and so forth. And my gosh, and okay, what's that bird singing? Or what's this plant here? I got the quizzes all the time, and I enjoyed it immensely. It wasn't a test; it was fun, and he made it fun. And after a while, I got the wanderlust. I had to go places on my bicycle, the adventure, the individualist that was striving to come out and didn't know how because I was still only 6, 7 years old. And so mother was screaming, "Don't let him go out there. Bill, it's 17 miles away. I let him go." Yes, sir. So he fought for me. And then eventually I was gone to my limits. And then my dad asked my Uncle Bob if he would take me out and on his adventures and duck hunting and fishing and so forth. And he did. And that was part 2 because my dad didn't do those things. And so with the combination of the two, I learned quite a bit. My uncle was a little bit more of a taskmaster, if you will. He would put me in the coldest, freezing most thing and places in duck blinds and nasty weather and everything. He says, "Chris, we having fun yet?" "Yes, Uncle Bob, we're having fun." And I'm blue, shaking and everything. But he always told me later, he says, "Well, if he could withstand that, then he was meant for the outdoors." And so we're on target. So I started all the way to Alaska. I wanted to go to Alaska. I mean, that was the next best adventure. I'd already rafted the Mad River, my own little raft, and run whitewater and wading up to my waist in rivers, chasing carp and looking at things and trying to possess things, game and this and catch this and that. And it's good in the beginning. That's how people start out, but eventually I did get lucky and get sent to Alaska. And that's where the real education began. And
they sometimes call Alaska the last frontier. So you were out.
The last frontier.
Sounds like your father and your uncle kind of developed in you a curiosity and an observation of nature and wanting to go out and explore. And then you got to go and explore the last frontier in Alaska. And it shaped you.
Yeah, that is true. Alaska is the last frontier in terms of God's gift to us on earth. Really, the last frontier is the human soul and self. That's always a conquest, always a challenge, no matter what. So, but in terms of the last frontier, there's so much there in terms of beauty and wilderness. But as the older I get, the more I truly understand that you can find wilderness right here, even in the little few acres right next to the cemetery where we live next to. But and there's wonder to behold in all areas, even a single plot. People think, "Oh, we need to go to the wilderness to experience it all," and it's all around us right here. Alaska just to me is a testing ground to really see the magnificence of things like glaciers and oh my gosh, wild rivers and 60-inch bull moose that come up to you and snort and wheeze and everything, and 12 feet away where they want to do battle with you, and you're going, and they don't like that too much because it makes them go into rut mode. So but those sort of things, and I was very fortunate to write about it. God gave me a gift of writing, and I won a couple hundred awards, national, regional awards, because of that. And I've been very blessed. Why? Like I said, I just sort of take dictation from God. But I also think it's if you learn to love yourself first, because so many people don't do that. They don't love themselves. They stay out of shape. They eat horrible things and everything. And how can you truly love and enjoy all of this and without loving yourself first? And that allows you to love God more and to love everything. And I think once you get into that state of grace, if I may call it that, then whether he does it, it happens from within, whatever, the whole universe opens up and you're able to feel things. I know I spent a bit of time going to Eastern monasteries, temples, and seeing the Eastern philosophy because Thomas Merton, a very important Christian philosopher, everyone should read him. And as to making that connection with all around us, and especially plants. I know my dad gave me a story, an assignment once. He would like to teach me. He didn't like what Catholic schools were teaching me, and when I was in high school, so he decided to take that into his own hands. And he gave me a book to read, The Secret Life of Plants. And I would recommend it to anyone listening or watching this, because in The Secret Life of Plants, plants are more than just something that we eat or grows over there. They're very sentient beings. And I'm in all agreement in that. Sometimes it's hard for me to cut a tree down because, yeah, call me crazy, but you feel things, you know things. There's a communication that takes place. And this comes over time. One develops that, and maybe that's why I was so good in the outdoors, because I can see things and hear things or notice things or get that sixth sense of things that a lot of people
It
don't
really
pick up
kind of
on.
changes your
It was,
perspective if you think there's some consciousness in the plants. And you started that at an early time. I ordered that book off of Amazon this week, and I started reading it yesterday, and it's so fascinating.
oh,
I've
good,
heard those
good. Oh, you'll
stories
love it. Yeah.
about how plants are aware of humans and respond to humans, but I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. But I'm sure that really shaped you and your orientation. Like this morning, I was picking some kale from my garden, and I thanked the plants. And then
Absolutely.
we just moved. I was talking to the plants at the old house because I'm going to move a few of them over. But just that the plants can even understand our intentions, that they know what we're intending to do. That's just so amazing. So the secret, your
Yes,
dad
that
shared
is.
that with you, and that must have shaped, the way you looked at things, I guess. And
I guess the best way I can describe it to people to give them a visual reference, it's sort of like the Matrix, in the movie The Matrix, where you can see all the numbers and everything going around, and that's how I think we, those of us that really have this connection with nature and the outdoors, is we see the numbers and such. Maybe not all of them, because those are the Platonic absolutes that, up there in the top that humans are incapable of seeing. But we see bits and glimpses of the absolutes here, and it's energy that it's just so invigorating. Sometimes it'll last for minutes, seconds, days, and it's a wonderful thing. You have that ability to sense what the plants are doing, and in animals, in even the bioflora in the earth, which is why I like digging in the dirt. There's so much there. There's rocks, there's soil, there's the astronomy in the Milky Way. It is no end. I mean, it is such a joy to be part of creation, because, Nancy, we all are part of creation. Everything, every molecule. We're made of stardust, even though we're made in the image and likeness of God, but we're still, you had to use some building blocks, and that is stardust for us, And it's great to know that I was part of a supernova at one time. The iron in my body may have been part of a supernova going through space, and here we are, along with the other pieces of the universe that's all around us. Oh my gosh. Let's have a party and celebrate.
It's miraculous that we are here. And I really enjoy talking to you because you have such a sense of this. And for so many years, you've cultivated your connection with nature and with the earth. So you were talking about how your father and your uncle, your own explorations shaped that. And then the Bible, your Christian teachings about love, and the Genesis story. Are there other books? This is the Writing for Change podcast. So I really believe that writers are helping change things, as part of the collective consciousness as we add our thoughts. So are there other writers maybe that shaped you at all in this process? You mentioned Thomas Merton, who was a great contemplative and also was in, where was he, in Thailand when he died? He was learning from the Buddhists.
He was, yeah, good memory. Yes, he was electrocuted by accident. Some say. Other people think it was a conspiracy theory, but I think that's conspiracy theories for everything. He was just ahead of his time. People were not ready for the coming together of Buddhists and Catholics, and that was taboo back in his day. So, but he was ahead of his time, and there's so many similarities as he thought with. There's so many connections and closeness between other religions and Christianity. And, as I see it over the years, it all helps us bring to this one place as salvation under God, or to the divine, if you want to go that route. It's the same destination. How you get there is pretty much a personal choice. If one religion or practice doesn't get you there, try another one. And well, you have to be saved, some people say. Yeah, well, that's save yourself and be a little bit open-minded about things. I mean, you know, your restrictions aren't there. Yeah, I'm the way, the truth, and the light. Okay, yeah, that's good, but there's a lot of way, truth, and light all around us, here. So it's there's all sorts of ways to get there. Authors, the Science of the Sacrament. I know my friend, retired military pastor, a chaplain, David Dormer, he recommended that to me. On how they built the churches in the old times, with long, steep towers, and the way they have the alcoves and everything. And there was a method to that, and because it enhanced the human spirit, so that when certain things are done, ringing of bells, burning of incense and everything, it uplifted the soul to where you could actually communicate and or get grace from God and communicate your prayers better. My gosh, if that isn't the absolute God-given truth, I don't know what is. Once you read it, it's out of print, Science of the Sacraments, but you'll find it online. Read it. And if you were wondering about why churches are, especially the old churches, 1900s and so forth, and just see for yourself. I think you'll be convinced. Other books, we can go into books. Freddie was a good novelist. I enjoyed him in terms of good versus evil. I guess that's the theme I enjoy most, is the good versus evil, because that's the Armageddon that's every day that we embrace, is good versus evil. So it's Armageddon every day for us, and making the right decisions. And even for that mosquito that just tried to bite me, poor thing. Usually I don't kill him, but this one was ready to put a big bump on my nose. It's and it's important on how we address those issues and battles that we face, because it will eventually lead us to a place that we don't even know about yet. And that's the most exciting thing, because it just keeps getting better and better, our interaction with nature and our interaction with God in the universe.
Yeah, well, those are beautiful words. And I guess you're finding it's getting better now as a 69-year-old came back to Ohio, and you're finding God and love in the natural world all around you there in Athens. Is that right?
The blind hog finds an acorn if he's lucky. Oh yeah, that's I am very blessed to be here. I never had any idea I would be here in Ohio, never in a million years. But it was full circle, since I grew up in Dayton, and I'm finding I have fish I catch, fish I catch, meaning in a net, in a stream, I watch them, and I take care of them, and I feed them, and I catch a turtle, and I watch him for a few days, and I feed him, and I can interact with so much in nature around here, and that I didn't have that in Alaska. We don't have a lot of amphibians, wildlife, and snakes in all parts of things, even little springtails. They're here in this piece of wood right here. You could look at those, and raise those for a while, and see and learn and feel what they're about. And there's so much here because the seasons are so longer. So I am very blessed. Plus, I get to be with my the family that I love down here. Alaska is pretty remote. You pay a price when you stay in Alaska, at least if your family's spread throughout the world like mine is.
Yeah. Well, it's great to talk to you, and I look forward to talking to you again sometime soon, when we can talk more about your career and your writing and how you expressed yourself and been a guide and a leader for many people over the years. So.
Well, thank you. It's nothing compared to what you've done and what you're doing with your great books and so forth. And I hope people will check into those, because it's you take them on adventures that may be a primer for their own adventures coming up in the future. So by all means.
Thank you. I think we're each unique children of God, following our drummer and being who God called us to be. So I can see that you're doing that in your life. I try to do that in my life too. And it's great to connect with you. I don't know if I mentioned, but Chris and I actually went to high school together and graduated from Belmont High School in Dayton in 1973, but we didn't really know each other in high school. And we
That's
just
right.
got acquainted when we had our 50th reunion last summer. So it's a blessing to meet you and talk with you today. And I look forward to talking to you again soon, Chris.
We're both blessed, and I thank you, and I look forward to chatting with you and the people watching this podcast again. Bye now.
If you would like to contact Chris Batin, you may email him at batinchris@gmail.com. And check back on my Writing for Change podcast and blog for more contact with Chris. Thank you for listening. I'm author Nancy Flinchbaugh. You can check out my website at nancyflinchbaugh.com for more information, or you'll also find links to the Writing for Change blog. Have a great day.